Hey, how's it going? Eddie Gray here, bringing you the Logic User Guide. It's Wednesday, and we're covering all things piano roll. If you want to learn about quantize timing, and if you want to learn how to thoroughly navigate the piano roll in a way that you never thought possible, then let's get into it right now. You ready? Here we go. What's up? How you doing? Let's go. All right. Hey, I'm feeling good today. It's Wednesday. Oh man, we get to do the very best thing in the world, and that's get into this incredible program, right? We're just laying brick on top of brick, and we're getting so much from this. We're getting so much value. And if you agree with my thoughts, if you agree with my sentiments, go ahead and hit the notification bell, and share this with just one person or on one of your socials. Thank you very much. Let's get into the nitty-gritty in Logic Pro. We're going to talk about the piano roll editor, but before we do, we have to address something. All right, super important that when there's a little bit of uncertainty around certain subjects, that we come back and that we cover them to the best of our ability. So right now, as you may have remembered during the last session, because there wasn't enough information, we really didn't get a lot from remove note overlaps. But again, your boy Eddie Gray has spent some time with this to unveil some of the secrets when it comes to removing note overlaps. Seems like it would be a pretty easy concept overall, but it took some finagling for sure. So let's go ahead and look at this right now. So I am going to bring you to Logic, okay? And what I'm going to do here is just set up a quick simulation. So I've got this note here, this one, and this one. Now, I don't want to hear these notes, so of course I'm turning Midi out off. All right, so then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on this Midi region. I'm going to control click, and I'm going to tell this note, hey, I want you to basically go all the way to the end of the following note. Well, in this case, the following note is right here. Wouldn't you agree? And in order to make sure that this is properly, yes, just want to make sure that the playhead is out of the way. All right, so the next note is this one right here. So this is when you would use this command here. So it's trim note end to the following note. You see how it extended all the way out to this one? Well, let's say this one was not here for whatever reason. If we use the same command, well, what do you think is going to happen? But essentially, this is going to stretch out to the following note, which is this one right here. Okay, so then now we'll control click, trim note to the following note. So that's shift backspace, right? And then that's going to carry over. So that's a really nice command. If you haven't utilized it, now is your chance. So let me command Z all that. Fantastic. So the next one. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to select these two. All right, so both of these are in key focus. I control click, contextual menu comes up. This time I'm going to say, hey, can you trim the note to the, can you go to the next note, which is trim note end to selected, that which I have selected. So it's going to force legato, force a long note. Check this out. So then now this note was previously here because of the key command is now there. So this is important insofar as maybe you want to bring this note over to that one. I'm holding shift click in order to activate all this good stuff. And so again, here holding shift, creating a selection. I'll control click, and then we'll use trim note end to selected force legato. And what do you know? The note that preceded the following note, because they were both selected, it moves in that direction. So it is interesting to think, well, why didn't this one move back here? It seems like the development is from left to right. I haven't noticed anything different. I'm just throwing it out there. Again, when I take my seat in the proper position, well, I'm gonna change the terminology. I want to make sure that everything's just simplified. So let's check out another one of these. What else do we got? It says here, trim note to remove overlaps for the adjacent. So in this case, let's pretend that we had this kind of thing where, they're kind of crossing over. Well, something that we can do right here, my good friends, is that we can control click and we can try this out right there. And it basically cleans up. And that is the right to left that we were looking for. But again, I don't agree that this is the easiest way to do this, right? It's like there's a more systematic and clean way to potentially do this. I'm not saying that it's for certain, but potentially there's something that we can do here. So if you're looking from right to left, if you want this to be cleaned up, then you're going to have to use trim note to remove overlaps for adjacent, okay? But then one more for you. If this one's all the way over and I select that one and I move to trim note to remove overlaps for selected, then the first note, the one preceding the one after, right, this one right here, will then kind of be cut. So that is a bird's eye view into how to really handle the trim note to remove overlaps. This can also be found in the edit menu, trim note to remove overlaps here. So get to know these, spend a couple of minutes, and it'll make all the difference in the world. My name's Eddie Gray. We're going over the Logic User Guide. I want to talk to you about something. Our mission here at HF Music Academy is to serve 10,000 modern creatives. We want to help individuals monetize their music. This doesn't mean that it has to look a certain way. You could be a music producer, right? You have your own home business. Maybe you're a film and game composer. Maybe that's what you do. Maybe you just sell music to publishers and you cash out every month. Regardless, we are a space that provides opportunity, training for what we like to call the modern creative. So I want to make sure you just understand our directive and our mission here, because it's what we're all about, and we live to make sure that you move forward. So thank you very much. I'm loving our time here together. It means so much to me that we get to just unlock this program. It's a treasure chest, and it's just an incredible resource for us, because if you learn it, and if you learn it well, then I'm telling you guys can find so many opportunities. There's so much abundance. Just this morning, I sold 9 songs to a very reputable company. It's possible. It's possible. All right, so look, I got to get you pumped up. So you know what we're going to do. Let's go! It's got to come from within you guys. You got to want it. Let's get into it. Here we go. All right, so we're getting into the user guide. I'm going to flip my screens here, and we are going to dive right in. You know what? Let me just remove this because we don't need it anymore. All right. We like to keep it nice and clean here. All right, so we're talking about quantization. You ready? Here we go. You can That's a loud roar. Let's go. You can quantize or automatically correct the timing of individual MIDI notes. Why is this useful? Well, it's useful when regions in the track contain the right notes. So you played everything in key, but not perfectly in time. When you quantize the timing, the items or MIDI events or audio are adjusted to the selected note value. So that's your quantization value. So what can we quantize? Drums, single note instruments, right? Monophonic bass instruments, chordal, guitars, synthesizers, or polyphonic instruments, that which requires a bunch of notes. The time Quantize controls quantized notes and other items non-destructively. This is the key term, right? The original timing is never lost and can be recalled by setting the value to off. So if you don't know how to use this yet, you haven't really paid much attention, or maybe you do, but you just don't know all the ins and outs, then it's time to take some notes, okay? All right, so the most basic level, right, we double click a MIDI region, and that brings us into the piano roll editor. We've covered that extensively. We're going to select the regions that we want to quantize, or we can select individual notes, as we have covered in one of the former videos. From there, we go into the time Quantize menu, and we choose the quantization value. Now, it really depends on the song. From there, you can set the degree of quantization here. Okay, so we would use the slider that I'm highlighting. I hope you're seeing this right there. All right, if you want to change the swing up, we have also talked about this extensively. Every second and fourth note, it basically will change the feel of the performance here. And again, all of this non-destructive. It's not actually happening to the metadata or the part itself, to the actual file. It's just kind of happening on the surface, and it can always be removed. So when we talk about quantizing a note, we can also do that by utilizing the Quantize tool. See, and this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where if you don't take the time to train with Eddie Gray, to sub resources for the modern creative, to share this incredible series with one of your friends, what's going to happen is that they may not know some of the tools of the trade, some of the tricks of the trade. And so I want to make sure that you understand that we can use the Quantize tool to click a note, or you can select a group of notes as well. So let me give you a quick example. This was just something that I created as a way to simulate that. But if we're talking about this bass thing here, and let's pretend that it's completely off kilter like that. You see how it's not on the grid anymore, right? So what we can do is we can hit T like Tom, and we could hit Q for quantize. And we could say, hey, actually, at a value of 16th notes, can I quantize these three because they are not quantized, right? And so boom, all of a sudden I just quantize those. Now look, check this out. I select the notes, I click one time, right? Click and hold, the quantization menu comes to you. So if you've been looking to be a little bit more efficient, maybe you don't want to hover over the piano roll inspector. At that, you don't want to go into the region inspector. My good friends, it's really easy. T, Q, quantization to click and hold. Boom, we got you covered. All right, let's keep going. You want to select multiple notes. The same applies. We just covered it. You would drag across those various notes. Now, let me just show you a different way, just to make sure that we're accommodating everybody here. All right, I've selected these three. 1, 2, 3. This time I'll use the time quantization mode here, and I'll just drag the slider to the right, and now those are all on time. Let's say we wanted to correct these. Same thing. These are certainly not on the, hold on, are they on the grid? Yeah, there we go. So then now I just selected here. Let's say you're like, no, it sounded better the other way. Eddie, play it back, run it back, run it back. All right, look, let's just turn this off. Option Command Q turns off the quantization, and then we're there. So Option Command Q turns it off. Q should turn it back on when it's ready. Oh, there it's off right there. That's why. Okay. So boom, right? If I hit Option Command Q, now it's off. But notice it's not off for everything. It's just off for those, right? This one needs a little bit of help. Let's hit Q, and it's on the grid, but it's on the wrong spot. So let's see if we can help this little straggler along. Let's see. Let me just do a little bit of this. So now I'm just getting this to be right where it needs to be. Boom. We are in the money. Let's turn on quantization, and that one's on now. So notice that these are still off. So you have a lot of control. How this looks, how this feels, it's up to you. You want to become a Logic Pro power user, you got to get your reps in. That's just how it works. There's no way around it. You have to have the necessary knowledge from the necessary resources. Don't just gather a bunch of scraps from YouTube, from Instagram, from the internet. Make sure you have the right information from the right resources, and then you can build something proper, right, from the ground up. All right, let's talk about quantizing pitch. All right, well, we know about quantizing timing. That's, obvious. 1 + 1 = 2. But when we talk about quantizing pitch, what does that mean? When we quantize pitch, we can set the MIDI events to a particular scale or a particular key. This is especially useful when you want to reuse a repeating pattern of notes, but you want to transpose them to a different key, right? This makes it really simple. All of a sudden, just go here. Let's say the song, this is in G here. Let me just check sound really quick. Hold on. Okay, so this is in G, but let's say we bring it up a step. So then we'll go to A, right? So that brings it to the scale of A major. That's one way to think about it. Another way you could do that is you could go into the track, transpose here. Of course, that would transpose the entire track, including all those regions. So then you might, let's say maybe if you transpose at the end of the song by a whole step, then you would just increase the value of these two regions and not these. So you can see up here in the region inspector, transposition is a value of 0, whereas with these last two, or was it 4? Yeah, the last 4, we went up to 2 semitones. Okay? All right, double click, hit 0, let's go. All right, articulations. If you have articulations in your MIDI data, I don't have anything here, so you're not going to see it in the piano roll inspector. But let's pretend that these are strings or something like that, and you want to start utilizing articulation sets. So I'll just pretend that these are strings, and then now, what do you know? We have the articulation modes here, and that can help you compose and write in a much more efficient manner, because now you don't have to set the key switches and articulation switches. It's all happening here. It's embedded data inside of the MIDI. So that's really fantastic. I do have another video on that on the channel. Go ahead and sub. And also we covered it in this series as well. Moving along here. Oh, so look at this. The help tag actually tells you what articulation has been implemented into the data. That's pretty sweet. Looks like there's also an articulation pop-up menu. Does that apply to here? So there's a couple things going on here. Let's control click, and let's pretend that this one here is going to be staccato. I know it's not, but just bear with me. Yeah, the articulation is being read. There is staccato in the help tag. And then something else I want to throw out there is if I control click and we go to the pop-up contextual menu, boom, right there you see it as well. Check it out, articulation. So there's a lot of ways to do this, right? More than one way to accomplish the same thing in Logic Pro. That was the shortcut menu. You can also use the pop-up menu as I showed you, okay? We're going to transition into lock positions after a word from our sponsors. Hey, I hope you're doing well out there. Eddie Gray reading the Logic User Guide and Tutorial. Here we go. Let's go! All right, cool. Man, sometimes, you get tired. You don't know where to bring out that energy. You just got to let it out. You just got to feel it, right? And then all of a sudden, you kind of almost start believing it. So you ever get tired, do me a favor, right? We're on page, 400 and something or other. You ever get tired of reading these user guides? You ever get tired of writing the tracks, right? Bring more energy to it, and perhaps you'll find more of it in the action. In the doing, you will find more, okay? All right, look, we're talking about lock positions. Let's go. There may be times that you want to protect some events in MIDI regions from being moved. For example, when they're synchronized to visual elements, events in a movie, you may have already created the music for the scene, but then are asked to increase the tempo to match the several cuts of different camera angles in the corridor, right? Really important for film composers, but to be honest, this is just important in general. Changing the tempo moves the events, resulting in events being out of sync. So this is when we get into this incredible thing called SMPTE or SMPTE, time position, to protect their position and keep them in sync with the tempo. Obviously, your advanced editing options must be loaded and ready to go. So let's get into it so we could talk about these details. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to utilize SMPTE. How do we get this up and running? Well, probably the best way to do this is to turn on flex time with all the audio. There's no visual elements here. We're not going to do that now. Perhaps at a later date. I do believe there's an entire chapter on media from what I remember. But yeah, we will get into it. And if you want to see more content, email support@hfmusicacademy.com. All right, so what we're doing right now is ensuring that basically everything is going to adjust tempo when I change tempo. So for example, we have this working idea here. Check it out. Okay, so you hear, right? So then if I wanted to raise up the tempo, I can double click the BPM up here and enter a numerical value. So now we're at 90. Now it doesn't really look like anything moved, but when you listen, so originally it was at, then you're like, you know what? I really want to change it. It needs some energy. I'm going to click and drag up here. Now everything is shifting because all the flex has been enabled within every track. And then, of course, Midi just will adopt the changes accordingly. Take a listen. Okay. But now what they're suggesting here is, what if there was some kind of visual element with this and you didn't want the notes to move? And by the way, this is also just a protective measure. Like for example, if you've ever been working on a track and maybe you nudge something over by mistake and it completely ruins your experience, then all of a sudden we know that we can lock this to prevent anything from happening. Oh, how do we do that? Well, we would go into, there's a couple ways, but we would go into functions and then we can lock the SMPTE position. I believe this is command and then page down. So once I hit that, you see a small lock right here. Do you guys see that? Hold on really quick. Yeah, good. And so then now, even if I try and do something, then all of a sudden I've got some issues. For example, if I try and move this over, it just moves back to its original position, right? So it just depends on what you are doing. So what's interesting is it allows you to delete. So that's kind of an interesting concept. Now, if you really wanted to lock this, and I'm not talking about the position, but I'm just talking about the part, then you are probably better off by using the protect function inside of the track header. And how I did that was I hit Option T, and that brought me there, okay? All right, so we're good there. Let's keep it going. Let me close this up. View. Okay, what else we got? We know that this is locking the position, that so even if I move the time, it's not going to change it. So this command ensures that events that fall at particular absolute time positions, again, that you're doing a score or something, or I don't know, you're making a video for your family and you want the timbales or the timpanis to hit during certain parts and you don't want them to be affected, you can change the BPM. But again, these will not move their position. So let me see if I can exaggerate this. See how I'm changing the time behind, but this SMPTE is not doing anything. It's just staying in place. Well, that's because I have it enabled, and so nothing is changing. Okay, very cool. Let me hit Command Z a couple times. It looks like a whole bunch of stuff happened. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, unprotected events. So if you want to basically remove this, it's as simple as Control-click, and you go to SMPTE lock in the contextual menu. You can unlock by hitting that command page up, I think. But regardless, that's one way to do it. You can also go to functions here, and then you would unlock SMPTE position. So again, if I try and drag this to the left, it ain't going nowhere. There it is right there. It just always comes back. Right? It's like a moth to the flame. So just want to make sure you guys understand that. In fact, I'll just leave that there. Sometimes I do this when I'm deep in editing and I don't want anything to move. So I'll just go to SMPTE and then I'll just literally lock it just like that. Okay. All right. Command F turns that off. Let's go. Muting notes. Here we go. We can use the mute tool. If you want to mute notes, this allows you to experiment with different note choices in a melody, different chord voicings. You need to know how to mute. Now, how you do it is up to you. So we know that we can utilize the mute tool. Okay, that's cool. We can also hit Control M, and that's what I want to try with you right now. So again, we're referencing this bass part here. I'm double clicking the region. I select one or more MIDI notes. Control M mutes them. But check this out. Did you know? T, M, I've set up my key commands so that now if by the click of a button, I've muted something. By selecting MIDI events and clicking on them, I have muted them. So really nice feature. If I then go into the tracks area, because there's an independent set of tools right up here that do not pertain or apply to the piano roll, well, then you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit T, I'm going to hit M. I've accessed the mute tool, and I can just mute just like that. So it's a really nice way of making your way around Logic Pro. Learn how to mute events, okay? All sorts of stuff. Let's keep going here. It looks like there is a key command, Control M, which I just showed you. The select mute. Oh, okay, cool. It's also available in the piano roll. This is interesting. Select muted regions. You can use it to select. Okay, so let's pretend that there are a bunch of muted notes, and you tried out this idea, but you're not feeling it anymore. It's just not. It's not working, and you're like, I want to turn those back on. Sure, we can do it one by one. Let me show you a better way. Edit. Select all the muted notes. Check that out. Shift M. Let's try it. Shift M. They're all selected. Control M. Unmutes. Let's go. You got to love it, guys. It's a beautiful thing right there, right? I'm just saving you seconds now. And after a while, that'll turn into minutes, turn into hours, turn into days, turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years. Thank you very much. All right, let's keep going here. All of a sudden, we know that the action mutes or unmutes all the notes of the clicked pitch in the MIDI region and is useful for muting the hi-hats in the MIDI region that is triggering an entire drum kit. So if you ever want to mute or unmute certain elements, there's a lot of ways to do it, right? One of the ways that I would recommend after turning off, where is this? Wait, drum, why is this here? Yeah. Looking for the piano roll. Okay, let's trying to resize this. Here we go. Thank you. All right. So if I click, let's say on this note here, all of them have been selected. And so by hitting Control M, I could just, for a minute, listen to the part, right? And then I can either Command Z it to bring it back, however you want to do it. But that's another way of going about it, right? I showed you how to select all the following. So you would select one of the notes and then hit Shift F. That would select all the following. And there was another really nice command the other day. I think it was a Shift Control F. Let me, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and look at this. All of a sudden, I don't have to go to the piano roll. All I have to do is hit Shift F, and it selects the following. I'm sorry, Shift Control F, and that selects all the following there. So really nice workflow right there for you. What else you got? Changing colors. Okay, we know that we can change colors. We talked about this extensively, but why is this necessary? Go watch the last video, but essentially, if you're trying to compose per the part, like, oh, you want all the drums to be viewable in one piano roll editor, then you would set this to region color. By velocity is really, kind of makes the most sense. It should be on by default. Control click the piano roll. Okay. Choose a color assignment from the shortcut menu. Let me see what they're talking about. So if I go here, name and color. So I'm not seeing what they're talking about. Hold on, let me just control click on the piano roll. Oh, the background. Okay, so like right here. Oh, that's sweet. See, I didn't know that. Okay, I'll take it. I will absolutely take it. So again, right now, as it stands, when I click on this MIDI region, you can see that everything is kind of being read by velocity. Okay, so in other words, this one's green and this one's blue, and then this one is red, right? That all makes sense. But we can view this per the region color. So in this case, if you look up here, my good friends, what color is this region? A darker purple, right? So now what I'll say is, hey, can we actually view this by the region color? So this is not changing the velocity per se. It's just showing me the notes via the region color. Now, what's really cool about this is if I include another region, in this case, track number 3, I know it's only 4 MIDI events, but you look at this. We're looking at the piano roll editor, and we're able to view it from a new lens. No longer just viewing the velocity colors, but viewing the regions themselves. If you've ever seen somebody like Junkie XL compose, or Hans Zimmer, or anybody, you understand why this is so useful. Because now you're looking at the parts not by just their velocity, but in one screen, you're able to, look at everything and maybe compose the melody so it's moving, it correlates, or you can have uncorrelated movements, or you can move in thirds, or you can move chromatically. There's so many different concepts there, which is kind of outside the scope of what we're doing here. But I'm telling you, if you are a serious composer and even just a producer, beat maker, and you just want to be able to look at this in a new way, region colors may be able to get you there. Right? Sometimes your screen is so populated. This is a very basic idea, but your screen is so populated, and you just wish you could see more than just this one region, right? And so this gives us the very unique ability. Let me just move these up so I can give you a sense of what I'm talking about. Good, and then I'll color this whatever color that is, and so then I'll click on both of these. I'll hit P like Paul, and we're looking at everything per velocity, but again, if I change it per region color, the purple ones are in the bottom because that's the bass, and then let's pretend the other instrument, whatever it was, is on top. So now I have a better way of looking at this, and I could start really fine-tuning these parts. Like, okay, I don't like how this part sounds with this part. Okay, well, let me move this one up, or whatever it is, okay? Okay, so let me Command Z that. Let's clean up the screen a little bit. 80-20, guys, 80-20. Stay productive most of the time, and then clean up your sessions, okay? All right, cool. So what do we got here? Viewing note label. I am all about this. I am all about this. When this came out, I don't remember the version, but yeah, you see how you can see the pitch, the velocity. Unless this is on note labels, you can't see that information, which is really detrimental. I mean, I believe this should be on by default. Not sure if it is, if you're a new user, but definitely enable this inside of view note labels. Really, 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 really important. Just want to make sure you understand that, okay? So that's under view note labels inside of the piano roll right here. Okay, let's keep going. We want to delete notes, guys. How do we do that? Well, of course, obviously, we could just hit delete. That's the most obvious. But did you know that you could use a tool? It's called the eraser tool. If you've been watching the channel, I've showed you about 6 other ways to do this as well. Now, do you need 6? No. I understand you don't need 6. That's a fact. But what if 3 of those completely altered the course, the trajectory of your career? Then would you need those 3? The answer is yes. So let's try using the eraser tool, and then we'll click on the notes that we want to delete. So I'll hit T and then I'll hit E. That warrants, and the reason I'm telling you out loud is because I don't think my key commands are going to line up with what's on your screen. I literally went into the key command window and I changed them by typing in tool, menu, not tool menu, but tool. And yeah, you see set zoom tool. You see how I changed all of these? Set the finger tool. I changed them because they work better for what I'm up to. See where it says tools menu right here? All right, so you can actually change all of those. Okay, so I have the eraser tool ready to rock, and as soon as I click that, obviously, what's it going to do but erase something? If I select the selection similar to the zoom tool, it's going to erase. Let's do something fancy. Let's do something interesting, something that'll really change the game. And I'll take this back to velocity. So how can we delete similar or equal events? If we go into edit, select similar events. Now what this is based off of would be the same pitch. Okay, we're going to try this out. So let's just start, I suppose, with this first one. Okay, we'll go into edit, select same note name, which would obviously just select, well, wait, why wasn't this one selected? Oh, yeah, so basically these two have the same velocity values. So because this velocity value is different, it didn't select. So Shift S will select everything that's the same, but it has to be the note pitch and the velocity value. So that's really interesting. Select similar events or select equal events. Did I see that? I just want to make sure. So edit, select equal. I don't see. I think they may have, yeah, it looks like they have kind of extended and drawn this out a little bit more. So it hasn't been updated. So now you can select the same note name, the same note pitch. So in this case, it would just select that one too. So what is the difference between select note name and select note pitch? I don't know, but we hopefully will find out. So then we're here. Let's go back. And by the way, I wonder if I could control click, right? A little faster. I don't have to hover. Select all the following. We went over that. My favorite, all following of the same pitch. Then we have some other ones here. Same pitch, same note name, same colored notes. So check that out. If it's the exact same color, it looks like it's going to select certain notes. So there's a lot there by way of options. You can also delete events by choosing edit, delete MIDI events from the piano roll editor, then choosing an option. All right, well, let's try edit, delete MIDI events. So I'm going to go here, edit. All right, this one's sweet. I think we covered it a little bit, but look, let's do everything that are duplicates. Nothing. Okay. And then let's pretend I have the cycle locators there. So I'll go back, edit, delete. Inside the locators, boom, those are, oops, sleight of hand. All right, edit, delete MIDI events. Outside the locators, everything outside will be deleted. And then did we get this last one? Outside, this is, oh yeah, I figured this one out. So if you have information that's outside of the region, so hence the region borders, then it can be deleted. Oh, look, I'm trying to adjust this, but because SMPTE's on, it's not letting me. So you have to be careful with that. So then now SMPTE is off. All right, cool. And I'll just create this kind of hidden gem right here. Let's close this. And it's still there once I open it. But of course, if I go into edit, delete outside region boundaries, what ends up happening is that, you guessed it, it's gone. Very cool, team. Hopefully you're doing well. Eddie Gray reading the user guide. I'm loving it. I'm so happy that we're making so much progress. We are a third of the way done. Look, I promise I'm not looking at the scoreboard. I'm here to serve you. Make sure you get what you need to get. But I am excited about the progress that we're making and all the stories that we're going to hear, right? How much you share this content. Look, we win because of you. This will happen because of you. So I really thank you for supporting us here. All right. If you have duplicates, this is also going to delete. So look, I know some of you, don't lie. I know sometimes you're trying to edit, and then you're like, I want to put it here, and then you have two. You see how there's two? There's one underneath. Well, check this out. This is a really unique opportunity for you to be able to delete these in a way that's just very easy, right? That's what we want, easy. Select duplicates. Hold on, am I in the right? I don't see it. Hold on. So delete it, edit, yep, duplicates. Okay, I thought we saw that, but let's try it again. Edit, delete. Oh, right there. Option D, boom. So you no longer have to move notes up and down, right? You can just click on the necessary note. In this case, I want this one. Option D gets rid of the other one, guys, just like that. It's great. This is awesome, right? Lots of great stuff here. I am going to highlight that one because I like that one. I definitely will be using that in my bag. Any events occurring twice or more at the same position and pitch are deleted, allowing for only one to remain. There can only be one. This is true regardless of whether the duplicates have different velocities, aftertouch, or controller values. Cool? All right, my friends, let's keep it going. We're going to delete events. We did all this. Let's keep going. I want to make some progress here. All right, we did that already too. Yeah, we did that. All right, time stretching notes. Okay, this is a very unique feature here. This is very interesting. In order to pull this off, I want to bring in a percussion loop. I think this will really illustrate what it is we're doing. We don't rehearse this, guys. This is all live on the spot. We designed it this way. We wanted to make sure that you saw the information and you were encouraged, because like you don't have to know everything, So yeah, this is not rehearsed. We just get up, we turn everything on and we show up every day, 6 days a week. If you love what we're doing, go ahead and hit the like button. Here we go. Yeah, okay, well, that's fine. I'm not really interested in this part per se, but I need something to kind of work with here. All right, let me make sure that this song is still intact. I know we've been, manipulating it every which way. So okay, cool. This is making some kind of sense. Let's get rid of that. All right, now check this out, my friends. I guarantee you have not heard of this next thing. It's just amazing what's out there and what's possible. So let's go ahead and pull this that way. There we go. Cool. All right. So we're talking about time handles and what does this do and why do we need it? Okay. So first you have to enable it. So you go to functions and you go into, where is time handles? Hold on, let me try that again. See time handles. Time handles and the I don't see it there. Does that need to be updated? Is it somewhere else? Oh, there it is. It's at the top of the menu. Control T. Okay, so then now I select it, right? Now nothing looks different. It's still just happening in the background, but check this out. If I then create a selection, everything kind of looks the same, but there are two handles, top left, top right of your selection, that will completely change the placement and orientation of your part. So I'm going to go ahead and just squeeze this, and you can see that what it's doing is literally changing the time position of this part. So what originally started off as this has now turned into, you do this, and then I wonder if I could go, hold on. Cool. And if it doesn't happen, okay, it's too much. Let me just do it from here. Yes. And then we'll drag this in. All right, and let's see how this was affected. Okay, here we go. What's up? So that's pretty sweet. You're looking for some variation. Maybe this is just too simple, too basic, or you need something a little bit more flashy, um, you could play with time handles. I'm not saying you have to do the whole thing. I mean, you can to double the speed or triple the speed, but let's actually stretch these out now. So instead of compressing them, and I'm just curious if they abide by the snap to grid. I wouldn't see, yeah, they do. So just be clear that they abide to the snap to grid. Now let me stretch these out. You could stretch them out all the way if you want. Let me just do that and see what this sounds like. Yeah, here we go. Right, so now I've created a variation on the theme simply by choosing time handles. And how I did that, again, we went into functions, time handles. Control T does the same. Again, no visual indicator, but if you look at the selection after you've enabled it, now we understand that something is happening. Something is happening, right? Just like that. Okay, cool. So as explained, you drag the upper part left or right, and you can compress and make it faster or stretch it out. The relative start points of the notes are preserved. If you shift drag one time handle beyond the other, the notes are reversed. Whoa. Okay. So see, something I didn't know right there. Fantastic. So this just became a little bit more interesting simply because we can reverse the order of this stuff. You know what? I'll do this with the bass this time, and I want to bring this tempo back down to 70 beats per minute. Oh, you got to be careful with this because some notes are SMPTE locked and some are not. So let me hit Command A. Let me turn off a SMPTE for everything now. And what I'll do is I'll mute this guy, and let's check out the bass part really quick. It goes like this. Okay, so it looks like I need to do some editing here, some house cleaning to be done. Yeah, like this. Okay, cool. So then what we'll do is we'll hit Command A, we'll hit Control T. I will create a selection. Control T. Create a selection. And then, as I said, I'm going to hold Shift and drag this. Oh, wait, that's taking the, the region border. Don't do that. Okay, so Command Z, all that. So yeah, this is important to recognize how to navigate these waters, So when I hover over the region, it looks like that. But when I hover over the part, it looks like that. So just be aware how to hover. So I'm going to hold Shift this time. And I don't see anything reversing, though. Oh, got it. So when you go this way, check this out. It definitely reversed. I saw that. So let me just show you one more time. Let me increase the region border. Okay, so we'll select everything. Again, I'm hovering over the time handle, and I hold Shift, and then I'm going this way now to Cali. All right, and let's press play and listen to this backward bass line. Here we go. That's pretty cool. I mean, like I said, just creatively speaking, that could be something else that you utilize in your arsenal. Really, really cool. If you want to adjust the time handle borders, drag the lower part of either timetable. Okay, so let's kind of put that into practice. If you want to adjust the overall, Control T. Wait, why isn't this? Oh, wait, I think I hit the wrong Control T. Yeah, the lower part. Oh, cool. You can actually resize the time. Man, this thing, I'll tell you, they thought of everything. Thank you, Logic Pro. So grateful. You can shift click notes to unselect them as well. What? You can actually deselect notes in here. Shift, boom. Wow, let's go. I'm highlighting all this. Love it. You can also Option Shift drag to select the required range of notes without having to. What? Option Shift drag is a kind of keyboard modifier. Option Shift. Oh wait, Option Shift. Wait, is it doing it? I don't know. Wait, hold on. You can shift click notes to unselect or select them. You can also, without having to choose functions. So the last thing I'm thinking is, yeah, maybe if this is off, you can do that. So option shift. Oh, wow. Let's go. All right, I'll take it. I will take it. I love it. More options, the better. Let's keep it going here. I do have my. All right, yeah, I've got my assistant coming in, so I'm just making sure he's not here. Let's see what else we got to cover. Looks like we are going deep here, so I think it's good. My friends, it is time to go. Next time I see you, we're going to learn how we can view multiple regions in the piano roll editor. Okay? Just kind of skimming through this. Show only the regions for a particular note. So yeah, now we're getting into some more detail with how we view this information. We're going to start talking about split chords. So the highest notes, how we can select the lowest notes. There's a key command for that, which I'll show you next time as well. If you want to assign notes different MIDI channels, in case you're using multi-timbral instruments, I'm going to show you how to do that. And this used to be really confusing. It's starting to just get easier to understand and grasp now. So I'm happy to spend some time with you and take care of that. And then it looks like we get into automation within the piano roll editor as well. So lots of good stuff coming for you. If you like the content, go ahead and sub. We really thank you for this opportunity to just show you the very best information on Logic Pro. This is Eddie Gray signing off. Much love, much respect. I want you to have an awesome Wednesday. Get your repetitions in. It really is not that complicated. Once you have the formula, you will achieve. So go ahead, hit us up if you have any questions, any comments. Maybe you just want more content. If there's anything that you particularly want to see, support at hfmusicacademy.com. We'll get you there. So look, let's get out of here. Namaste. I'm signing off. Thank you very much. We will catch you tomorrow. See ya. Oh, music.